This on? I think it is. Hey everyone, what's going on, people? Hi everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Oh Lord. Y'all, I'm telling you, one day my eyes were fine. The next day I woke up, I needed glasses. Like, yo, I cannot. Not see. Hey, Miss Eleanor, how are you? Miss Eleanor. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. Say hello. Come on in. Say hello. Come on in. My skin is a bit dry. It's one of my new tattoos. Obsessed with it. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Let's talk immigration. Say hello when you come in. You know what? I'm going to suit myself. Hi, everyone. Okay, much better. Hello, my Guajilonio. Happy new month. Happy new month. Happy February, everybody. Welcome to the continuation of blessings. God started with January. He's about to blow your mind and embarrass you with favor and success and abundance and grace this month and beyond. Let's talk immigration, y'all. Come on in, say hello. It's been a long day, so the earlier we start, the better. And if you're just joining us for the first time, we do this Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 Central Standard Time. And y'all, yeah, we still have people call the office today that, hey, I'm waiting on Zoom for a consultation. She's not here. Like, well, she's not going to be there because you're an hour early. Like, you know. So, Hi, everyone. This is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. Hello, Mr. Maji. You want to recommend me to get USCIS? I think you work harder. Let me tell you something. The U.S. government is never going to hire him as a USCIS officer because every joke she been she interview visa joke they can't even employ me because I won't even ask a supervisor, should we approve this? No. Why am I asking? Like, that's the whole point of being my own boss. I don't have to ask permission for nothing. What is saying kini for Miss Kini? To God be the glory. Hi, everyone. Once again, this is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. I am an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. We get a question every single day that, you're in Alabama, I'm in Maryland, I'm in Florida, what's going to happen? How do you do that? I conduct Zoom consultations on phone. And the most important part of it is that immigration is federal practice. So that means that it doesn't matter what state you live in. I can represent you as long as an attorney is licensed in any state and they practice immigration law. They can represent you regardless of the state you live in. In my case, I'm licensed in Alabama and I'm also licensed in New York. But my office is the office we have for right now. Right, emphasis on right now is in Alabama, but I travel to whatever state depending on my availability. But addicted to your channel. Thank you, oh boy. But if you need us to, we start all cases start with consultations. I do not offer free consultations. I don't. This is my version of free consultations. So that's how we start cases. In order to evaluate your case, see if you're eligible for any immigration benefit, and then we go from there. So our cases, H-1B, NIW, meaning national interest waiver, 751, irregular marriage case, citizenship, some removal proceedings. I do not do all removal proceedings, just some. I don't do custody or bond at all, detained basically. But call us 334-341-4475. We'll be more than happy to help you and help you figure out if you are eligible for an immigration benefit. Another reminder, what we talked about on Tuesday, that immigration fees, USCIS filing fees are going up starting April 1st, 2024. it's kind of like a big confusion. No, well, so if you're doing paper filing, most of those are going up. Now, they're introducing this part of, because USCIS is trying to move to electronic filing. So they're, introducing this part of, if you file certain applications that are eligible to be filed online, some of those fees are actually going to be less than what they currently are, so that you can file online. I don't care to file online. And now some of my clients just don't care to do tech stuff, because we have to complete the form, and now in my account, meaning my paralegal does it, and then I review, we send it to the client. The client gets an email, they have to open an account, then they approve. Sometimes that gets just, if you're a tech person, works well, great. Some of my clients just don't care to do computer stuff. In that case, we do paper filing. But just so you know, if you're trying to take advantage, especially for green card applications, right now you're able to file the green card applications for $485, pay $1,225 without, and your fee, the filing fee gets waived in a 765 and I-131, right? Comment prefers each of those applications will have their own separate filing fees, meaning you're going to be paying more for one of I-485 and then filing fees for work permits and advanced parole. So let's get those papers filed, people. Okay. Once again, our number is 334-341-4475. olalayalawfirm.com. Email is info@olalayalawfirm.com. Same number on WhatsApp, text. My assistant is always there to help you out and get you in the right direction. Like, share, follow, subscribe. All platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram at Olalay Immigration. Okay, that was a mouthful. Let's talk immigration, people. What are we talking about tonight? Okay, let's revisit this issue. And if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. I get to questions and we take as many as we can. Sometimes we just have a full hour of questions, but this is an issue that keeps recurring. And this is about if you are from a country where there is customary marriage. I am Nigerian, so I'm very aware, and I have been very, I had to be more knowledgeable about why, because I'm Nigerian, that's where I'm from. So I understand the culture and I know what we have. But that's one of the reasons why some Nigerians, or if you're from West Africa, I don't know if that's the same thing in the Caribbean. I don't know. I can't speak to what I do not know. But let's talk about termination of customary marriage. Termination of customary marriage. I'm beginning to see more and more, and I had 2 conversations today about that, where people are using or getting customary court decrees to show as evidence of a termination of a customary marriage. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's one of the ways you can actually terminate a customary marriage. So basically, what is a customary marriage? Customary marriage is anything that is not in a statutory. It's not a civil marriage. You didn't go to the registry. And hi, Ms. Abena, how are you? Oh, really fine understanding. You didn't go to the registry. So an Islamic marriage falls under customary marriage. What we call engagement back home, especially to Yoruba culture, and I think even Igbos do it though, where actually traditional marriage, what we call engagement, that is basically customary marriage. Whenever you have a customary marriage, please understand something. You cannot present decree nisi. If you're Nigerian, hear me loud and clear. It's Imilu. You cannot present decree nisi and decree absolute as evidence of your evidence of termination of your customary marriage. It is impossible to terminate a customary marriage in a statutory court of law. That would be red flag number 1 for USCIS. Say, okay, Atimui. Like, okay, we already know this is going to be something. Why? Because a high court does not have jurisdiction to terminate a traditional customary marriage. They just don't. If you get married in a registry, meaning in the church, if you get married in the church, you will be registering your marriage with a marriage registry in your local government, or you actually get married in a registry. Then that's when you need decree nisi, decree absolute, because that is a statutory marriage. Now, Conversely, you cannot use a customary marriage document to terminate a statutory marriage. Okay, I'm beginning to see, so that just to lay a foundation of that, they're just different, independent of their jurisdiction. I'm beginning to see more people present decree nisi decree absolute as proof of termination of customary marriage, or common law marriage as we call it, or go ahead and get a divorce decree from the customary court in Lagos, in Ibadan, wherever, in 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 kind of thing, like somewhere nobody has heard of. The issue you're creating for yourself in that situation is this: whenever you give USCIS an opportunity to be able to go have a basis or grounds to verify some information, and it's not verifiable, you are creating a problem for yourself. There is absolutely no requirement. Hello, Miss Mary. Shetiri, email me. Most send email, see? Thank you, Fanny Shandy. There is no requirement that a customary marriage has to be dissolved with record. So let's put things in perspective. Let me see if I can. Okay, let's see. If you are on Instagram or TikTok, you're probably not going to see what I'm going to show. So if you want to see what I'm going to be sharing my screen on, turning on my screen, then you want to go on YouTube or Facebook. Okay, Siri. All right. So okay, this is it. If you want to see what I'm sharing, please go on YouTube or Facebook. This is really important because it makes no sense. You've responded, okay, I'll check my email later on. It makes no sense for you to start a marriage, fall in love with somebody, start building life with them. You've been married before, and then you send in documents, and then you're waiting 2-3 years for it because there's so much backlog, only to be told your case is going to be denied because you didn't have a qualifying relationship, which is a viable marriage, because you didn't present evidence that your previous marriage was legally terminated. Now, if you had asked me, now customary doesn't change. If you had asked me 2 years ago whether or not I paid attention to divorce decrees and all that, in all honesty, 2-3 years ago, no, because I'm just thinking divorce decree called I think this was about 6-7 years ago. Too much English story. But I didn't know any better. But knowing now and thinking back, Sherry still do want to divorce me. But hey, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. But now, because there's so much of that situation, there's a unit just dedicated to African divorce documents, just to be able to verify. That's how bad it's an epidemic, basically. So if you're going to go through all of that and then only for your case to be denied just because you could have done something completely different, then that's so. One thing I tell people is, if you're going to be thinking, because a lot of people want to file papers themselves, nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that. I just am someone who, if I have a headache, which I deal with migraines almost on a daily basis, and thank God, I'm believing God for healing, but I know better than to get on Google and say, okay, this headache feels different. It's one-sided or on top of my head. I know better than to get on Google because I have a primary care physician and I have neurologists that I see. I can make an appointment, so I'm not guessing. That's their expertise. But if you choose to get into filing yourself, which quite a number of people do, at the very least, do yourself a favor and have your documents, especially if your documents are from your home country. Have your documents. I don't authenticate documents. I cannot tell you, hey, this is going to be, I can't give you a 100% guarantee because I don't. But because I've seen so many RFEs or a notice of intent to deny, having an idea what, and I have a friend who practices family law in Nigeria, who I contact once in a while or whenever I need confirmation from him. I'm more knowledgeable in that area now compared to a few years ago. So the best thing you can do for yourself is actually to have your verify your information, have a lawyer look at it. Even if, I cannot say anybody, I can tell you, okay, I don't see anything that should become an issue. Did you have a statutory marriage? Did you have a registered marriage? We can confirm what documents you actually need. If you tell me you had a customary marriage and then you give me the decree needs to decree absolute, that's already a red flag, right? So instead of spending all that time waiting only to be denied because your divorce decree was defective, do yourself a favor and actually have that verified before you start your process. So if you got married in Nigeria in a customary way, right? Y'all, if you are on, help me out and let me know. Can you see me? Can you see what I'm sharing? Can someone confirm on YouTube and Facebook that you can see what I'm sharing? Yes, no? Come on, people. Can you see my screen where I'm sharing? Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So basically, like I said, if you want to see what I'm sharing, then you have to go on YouTube or Facebook. What the one place to go, and this is one of the tips as immigration practitioners. That's one of the things we do. And I'm giving you, this is free. This is like free consultation. If you're in doubt about what is the required documentation for a specific matter from your home country, please go on the U.S. Department of State website or just put in reciprocity schedule in the Google search and it will take you there. It's listed by countries. Click on your country. Look at, for instance, this is Nigeria, right? And so I'm Nigerian, so most of my clients are Nigerians. And it would tell you what is acceptable in your country. On the screen, if you're on YouTube and TikTok, like I said, you can see it on there. It's got marriage certificates and divorces, right? So marriage certificate, that's straightforward. If you have a customary marriage, you cannot possibly present a customary marriage decree because it is for your certificate engagement now. About marriage mosque. I don't know, but it's not. I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what matters for immigration is most of us were married before. What is proof that that marriage has been legally terminated? And here is what you need to go. You go down to divorce decrees. What kind of marriage did you have? That's number one. Depending on the kind of marriage you have will determine what is the appropriate divorce certificate that you have to present. In this case, we're talking customary marriage, right? Okay, so let's blow that up. Let's zoom that up a little bit. This is a U.S. Department of State schedule. USCIS officers are required to go on this website to verify whether the documents presented to them in the case matches what is indicated on the Department of State website. Where it says customary marriages, there is no legal requirement that a customary marriage should be dissolved by any court, nor any requirement that the divorce be registered or documented. So wait, court affect by customary court. Why? But why? You know what? When they say if you ain't broke, don't fix it. But why? Because now we're getting not saying, well, we couldn't verify this with this customary court that you said you got this document from. It now says marriage under native law and custom. That's engagement and all that, right? Okay, I'm going to get to that, I'm sure. Traditional marriages are often dissolved without any written record. Without any written record. One legal method of divorce involves the groom or his family returning the bride price to the bride or her family. Some can be documented with filing an affidavit with a customary court, but there is no such requirement. If you are someone who got married under Islamic law, which is still traditional marriage, here it is right here. Divorce is most often initiated by the husband, where a man tells his wife, I divorce you. That single pronouncement suspends the marriage. Making this pronouncement 3 times permanently dissolves the marriage. There is nothing that says it's got to be in writing. Now, it just makes sense to have an affidavit because we're paperwork field and you want something where USCIS sees something. What I would do with my clients, we have an affidavit. Either from the husband in an Islamic marriage, I said to her 3 times, we're divorced, end of story. If it's a straight up customary marriage, like engagement, we have someone from the oldest member of the family from each side write affidavit and say, hey, this was the day we returned the dowry. End of story. Everybody went their ways. That's all. Please don't complicate things. Some things are just leave it alone. But when in doubt, just have your case evaluated by an attorney. Even if you plan to do it yourself, that's fine. But have your case. You're going to pay. No, attorneys, we have bills as well. We get paid by time. That's, so any single minute I spend on something, that's how I pay my bills. So that's why I'm, being committed to this. We do it Tuesday and Thursday is my way of giving back and saying, hey, you can. But now if you need more specific information about your case, then we have to talk when you pay. That's it. So please stop getting Brother Yusuf ni Lauren. I went to University of Lauren. Don't come for me. Brother Yusuf, I want to know about me and no, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Just leave it alone. If you got married in the registry, obviously you need a high court decree, niece and decree absolute, which making sure that the grounds states the right thing. If you have got minor children in the marriage, the children have to be listed in the divorce. But but if it's a customer, if you had a customer marriage, you couldn't have it better. Because all you need is an affidavit. That's it. That's all you need. And that's all sure, people. You can tell I get passionate about this. It's just that I want also all win. There's no, have we gotten cases where it was denied because of divorce decree? Absolutely. But moving forward, how can we do that? How can we get better? How can we prevent anyone filing their own case now from getting in the same situation that people had gotten into? And keep in mind, another thing is, if it is determined that your divorce decree was not genuine, not only will your case be denied, but if you're not getting your divorce and then you're refiling, USCIS then hits you with inadmissibility based on presenting fraudulent documents. It gets more complicated, people. So let's let sleeping dogs lie. And that's all she wrote. Okay, let's take as many questions as we can. Let's see. Let me go more. Sorry. Hi, Ms. Abena. Thank you. And please share. You'll be amazed how many people, reach out to us and like to see and more how valuable the information you give. And it's, I'm humbled by it. Hopefully I can help. I mean, if I can't help my own people, but I try to minimize, what's going on. They already think we're all scammers anyways. You say you're from Nigeria, they look at you funny. That's the price we got to pay. But anyway, okay. Let's see. Happy Thursday, Ms. Giwa. How are you? Yes, okay, yeah. Oh, was not readable. Oh, so hopefully, yeah. But like I said, if you put it in Google search and just put in reciprocity schedule, that will just bring it up. And then you just go in your home country and look at what the acceptable documents are. Okay. After you get a notice saying I-765 is transferred for processing, what should I expect after for it to be processed? Hello, Arlene. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Okay, let's see. I always let me start with okay. I'll just circle back. Where's TJ? TJ is on his he's got a soccer tournament in somewhere. He's in a soccer team in his school. They got a soccer tournament this week. They started playoffs today. I forget the school they're playing, but yeah, that's what he is. Hello, Miss Fumbi. How are you? Let's see. Happy New Month, everyone. It's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful. Can you know fiercely? How are you? Happy New Month. After how many years can you put in citizenship after green card, please, if you're still in the marriage? If you are, after you get your green card, if you're filing based on being married to, filing for citizenship based on being married to a citizen, as long as you've been in marital union for that citizen for 3 years as a legal permanent resident, not 3 years as being married, 3 years as that you've had that green card for 3 years and you still are in marital union with your citizen spouse, then you can file for citizenship after you've been a legal permanent resident for 3 years, not after you've been married for 3 years. Big difference. If you're no longer married to your spouse, or even if you're still married to your spouse, but your spouse is not a citizen, your spouse is a green card holder, or you're no longer married to your citizen spouse, then you've got to wait 5 years. The only exception, or one of the exceptions to you filing less than 3 years as a legal permanent resident, is if you join the military. So that's an exception. You don't have to wait 3 years. You don't even have to remove the conditions of residency. If you join the military, you can go from a conditional green card to citizenship. Or if you got your green card through VAWA, an abuse-based process, doesn't matter, and your abusive spouse was a citizen, it doesn't matter whether you're still married to the person or not, you will remain eligible to get your green card, to get your citizenship after 3 years since you became a legal permanent resident. So it's not counting years of how long you've been married. The 3 years, 5 years depends on how long you've had your green card for. I hope that helps. Oh, by the way, disclaimer, general information. Don't say, oh, that lady with the black salt and pepper hair. No, it's not gonna happen because we didn't sign any contract, right? So just general information. And once again, we do represent immigration clients in all 50 states. Thank you, Ms. Najibullah. Book consultation for next Tuesday. Okay. No. But I'll give the time. I'll figure it out. I'll get it anyway. They'll do my schedule. You answered a lot of questions one another. Thank you. I just want us to know more. That's all. I said, and trust the assistant lawyer. As she go, as she sa, to guess, to boy, to boy. I can be goofy, y'all. You have no idea. Can an undocumented person pay taxes and get a tax tax refund? There's your, what's it called? Your immigration status doesn't determine whether or not you get a refund. As long as you're paying taxes and you've got you file your taxes, then the immigration status doesn't prevent you from getting tax refund. Spoke about this with someone yesterday and today. Yeah. Information is knowledge. It is. Miss Mary says, good evening, my people in the house. It's Melo. Hello, Epic Movements. What's going on? My baby is on. My son is on. Hey, baby. Hello, kiddo. Are you still on? Send me a video request if you're still on, kiddo. My boy, my son. That's my child. Islamic and traditional marriages need no, yes, no divorce decree, affidavit. That's it. Don't let us complicate things that don't have to be complicated. This is an eye opener. I'm glad. Wait, my son. Hold on. I'm trying to wait to him. Y'all gotta, because that's my child. That's the one to make me a mama. Look at my son. Hey, baby. Hi. Y'all say hi to my son. That's my firstborn child. He's a freshman in college. You just woke up, kiddo?
No.
No. Okay, you because you're sleeping earlier on. All right. Just wanted to see your face.
Okay.
Love you, kid.
That's it.
Yeah, I love you, kid. That's my child. That's my baby. That's my baby. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying not to miss anyone's question, so just hold on and get there. Eye opener. Thank you. I'm glad it is. Okay. Oh, you had a certificate from the email. Okay. I think I've heard about that before. Just to as record with the mosque of your marriage. Yeah, but that's usually like, is it like the nikah ceremony record or something? But obviously you don't have to. Well, you don't necessarily have to provide that as anyway. You guys lost me there, but it's not required to be registered. You're welcome, Finest Shandy. I'm glad that you actually reached out because that makes a big difference. Can someone with permanent resident file for you? So if you are married to someone who's got a green card, they can file a petition on your behalf. The end goal is the end goal is for you to get a green card, right? So the question really is, if you are in the country without having to leave, can they file for you? They can file the I-130, but you cannot file your I-485 until the priority date is current, meaning USCIS has started working on cases that were received on or before the date on your receipt date on your I-130. In addition to that, in order to adjust status as someone who is married to a green card holder, then you must maintain valid non-immigrant status up until USCIS gets your application. If you're out of status and you're married to a green card holder, you cannot get a green card in the country without having to leave and apply for your immigrant visa at the embassy. And if you have overstayed, you would need a waiver of the unlawful presence approved before you leave for your interview. Hello, Island Girl. How are you? Thank you for sharing. You have turned some of us into an immigration agent. Hey, the more you know. The more you know. If it gears you in the direction or steers you in the direction to at least want to get at more information, I guess then, it's all worth it at the end. Than to just go in, dive in head first, and you're like, okay, 2:30. Okay, my will the intake summary. After VAL interview, how long does it take to make a decision? I'm waiting for 10 months now. What VAL interview? There's no VAL interview. You mean after VAL approval, the I-485 interview? Is that what you mean? Because you don't get interviewed for a VAL case. My sister filed her I-765 in November of 2021, and she got a letter of extension, but hasn't heard anything since, and she's worried. Isn't 2 years still okay? That's not a 765. That's a 751. If you're talking about getting an extension, that will probably be. Are you talking Island Girl? Are you talking about she already has a green card and she filed to remove the conditions? Is that what you're talking about? And if that's what you're referring to, then 2 years is not. It's taking about, I want to say it's about 27, 28 months is what they're averaging. If she's eligible for citizenship, she had once consulted with you in 2022. I'm not OTG. All right then. Okay. Marijuana. My brother is growing old. Does he know I'm older than him? You're old now. You're old. Before uncle. You're old. You're like what? I think you are 20. You 29? No, you're 27. I think. Can't remember. But you're old. My kid is 19. Can USCIS forgive your overstay depending on what immigration benefit you're eligible for? So if you're married to a citizen and you came in legally, it doesn't matter that you've overstayed. That spouses of citizens are exempt from the unlawful presence bar. If you're married to a green card holder, however, there's no forgiveness of overstay. So in that situation, you probably would be better off letting your spouse become a citizen, and then you become an immediate relative, and then you become exempt from the unlawful presence. Hi, Sister Lawyer's son. For the medicals, hepatitis B vaccine, do I need to complete all the doses before I can submit my medical records? That's for the civil surgeon. Question for them. I got a 4-year travel parole and already went for an interview. What's the question? Okay, 751. I guess it's much. It's you just in 2 years in November of last year. It's not. That's still within normal processing time. Okay. I love your wedding ring. Hi, is a wedding ring. I didn't know. Let me, Niger folks. I'm a Bashiman say. You know how we want to stir up gist where there's no gist, right? You just want to, we see, blogs in. You just want to create gist that you have no basis for the gist. Shall I your wedding ring? See, please let's move on. Just like gist. But talking about wedding, please, I'm looking for Valentine for. Tell us about Michelle Valentine and Joe. February 14th. Hey Joe, where do we sign up? Come out to share this year all by ourselves. Can I rent an apartment to get a PO box while processing my VAR application? Nothing says you have to live with your abusive spouse. Okay, I know who this is. I think we spoke earlier today. I looked at it. We talked earlier today. Nothing says you have to stay in the same place so you can with your abusive spouse. You can go ahead and live on your own or get a PO box. But for the most part, whenever we have an abuse case, either a full-blown VAL or an I-751 VAL case, my office address is where we use as the safe mailing address for clients. If your asylum is still pending, can you apply for advanced parole if you want to study in Canada or Europe? I don't know as far as studying that long, but you can apply for advanced parole, but you have to be specific as to what it is that you're going outside the country for. Keep in mind, if you're going to go to another country where you can seek asylum, you don't want to create a situation where you're going to be stuck there, because now you can seek safety in that country. Can you call USCIS for a pending case? Most of the time, yes, unless it's a confidential case like a VAR case. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, Miss Illinois. Amebo. Auntie Amebo. I come on like, no, Amebo. Just, Insta blog. Yeah, I'm going to look with Insta blog. No, leave it alone. You're not getting no story. I see, I'm an open book. You already know me by now. If I was married, first of all, my mom says, "Oh my, Abisola, what in lead you? What in lead you? Why don't you very rock bye and let's leave it alone." But Timothy Rock, you will be the first to know. There's no secret in it. It's just that I think I need therapy first of all, because I'm very set in my ways, extremely set in. Like any guy who's gonna come into my life, I'm telling you, you've got to be really, really strong on your. You've got to be someone who does not. You've got no insecurities. You're just a very confident, not arrogant. Number one, you've got to be God fearing. Like you've got to love Jesus. You got to love God. That's a deal breaker. That's it. But you've got to have confidence in because I'm over 5 foot tall. But y'all, my kids, my boys, said they don't want to marry somebody like their mama. Not that my mother, I know if my son is he's probably still on, but they said they won't change anything about their mom. But like, oh no, that's a whole lot. Yeah, let's pay attention. Mama down low. Before you know it, you see that the vlog. Oh, that's it. Wait. Okay. For your travel pair, is there anything to worry about after I already went for my green card interviews? So worry about in what sense? If they're applying they're approving your advanced parole after your interview, what is there to worry about that they approved it? You already have requirements for y'all just something. Tell them Epic Movements, August 21st, babies. Because I was born in, and then my personality is very strong. Because I'm a Leo baby. My birthday is August 21st. Just by nature, I've got a very strong personality. And I tried to dial it down, but yeah. But I have a heart of gold. People who really know me, they would now. And I think that's where, let's just leave it alone. Because you're like, auntie, okay, let's go on TikTok. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Anything that's got to do with processing time, like I said last time, go on USCIS.gov/processing times. We can all check it and see how long it's taking USCIS. Your hair is beautiful. Thank you. I mistakenly sent the receipt instead of the money order part at the NBC Center. What to do? I don't understand what you're asking. NBC Center. What do you mean? Okay. Do you have translator in French? I do not. I speak English and Yoruba language, so I don't have anyone who can speak French to help you translate. If you're 60 years old and married 20, if you're 60 years old and you're married a 26-year-old lady, can I help get her a green card? If you're a citizen and you guys are in love, the age is no factor for them to deny your case. I just had a client who is, I want to say she is 50, no, she's 64. She's 64, and then he's 29 or something like that. They just got their K1 and he's here in the country. So, because I want to explain my case to you, but I speak French. Unfortunately, I don't. You can't have someone who speaks French with you if you want to set up a consultation. I just don't have anyone who speaks French in my office. I did my N400 interview last May 2020. May 23, and I got divorced November. My case is yet to be approved. What happens? I mean, I'm surprised they haven't approved your case. Maybe they don't believe you're a marital union. If you may want to withdraw that, if you're actually not a marital union, you may want to withdraw that and just wait until you're 5 years, so it doesn't become an issue for you. But general information, I don't know about any one specific case, so this is just general information. Can you help someone from Nigeria file NIW from Nigerian embassy? Absolutely. We have Nigerian who have clients outside the United States who get, you obviously have to file your petition here. When that is approved, your case is forwarded to the National Visa Center, and then you apply for your immigrant visa at the embassy. What is the cost to file for my husband? I don't have set fees. Fees depend on each person's case and decided when we've had a paid consultation. Have a question? Can I call you tomorrow? You can call our office 334-341-4475, but you will be directed to schedule a paid consultation. But that's number 334-341-4475. I did my marriage in the high court in Nigeria, and I'm here in the US. Can I divorce my wife while I'm here? If you have met the residency requirements in the state you live in the United States, there is no requirement that you have to have a green card or be a citizen. As long as you've met the residency requirements in that state you live in, and your wife back home waives service and agrees to an uncontested divorce, that is one of the best decisions you can make before you start your immigration case, which is filing for your divorce here in the United States. So as long as she agrees, you've met, because in my state in Alabama, you've got to be a resident of the state of Alabama for at least 6 months. Once you're at that 6 months mark, you're able to file for divorce. And if the person is outside the country, you just have them, we do answer waiver divorce. We send documents to them, they sign it, scan it back to us. We file with the court. We wait 30 days, done. End of story. So that's how it goes in my state. I need you, Sister Lord. You need, I need Jesus. 334-341-4475. I need to put moisturizer on my. That's our office number. You can go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, to schedule a consultation directly if you're. That's a faster way, really, to be able to do that. You need talking tonight. Tomorrow is not possible. You're going to have to look in our schedule and see what my availability is next week. But I can tell you I'm completely booked. This week was something. Yeah. Thank God. I'm not complaining. Advanced parole-based marriage and I-130-45 pending. Can I travel with my parole, my asylum pending in USCIS? If you've got an advanced parole that you got through a marriage case, as long as you've not been, referred to immigration court and spending with USCIS, generally you should be able to travel. I'm not saying you should travel, but generally that shouldn't be a problem. Let's see. Any questions about how long something is? You're going to have to go on uscis.gov/present time. What happens after they approve VAWA to get a green card qualifying relative for fraud? What happens after they approve VAWA to get a green card qualifying relative for fraud? What are you asking? Oh, what happens after they approve a VAWA to get a green card and no qualifying relative for fraud? So, Melissa, let me just, that's not a name that's unique to anybody. So, help me understand your question. Are you asking if you have now been approved for, you've been approved for a valid petition, but being found inadmissible for the green card part of it based on fraudulent, fraudulent documentation, whatever the case may be, and you're asking, how do you not get a green card if you do not have a qualifying relative? Is that what you're asking? If that's what you're asking, confirm that for me, then I'll know how to answer that question. Let's see. If your ex-husband's last name, would that be your problem for I-130? That shouldn't be. I don't see any reason why. My last name right now, that's my former married name. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 is my ex-husband's last name. My maiden name is Samuel, but I still use 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 because my whole identity in the United States is in that name. And I'm too 𝐸𝐽𝐽 to change any of my diplomas and all that. I ain't gonna pay. Ain't gonna pay to change my naturalization. I'm not gonna pay. Just leave it alone. And so what I did was I told the judge when we went to divorce, like, hey, by the way, judge, he's probably going to tell me to drop the name, but can you put it in the order that I get to keep that name for my professional life, but use Samuel in my personal life? And that's where we are. So I don't see that as being a problem. Recently divorced a U.S. citizen after 13 years. I was a full-time mom. Is he responsible financially for me? I don't know how that relates to immigration, because if you're talking of financial support, then you're talking of family law. But unless you're talking about he's filed papers on your behalf and now you're getting through a divorce, I'm not sure what it is you're asking. Okay. Okay. Melissa, I'm still waiting to see if that's what you're asking. Let's see. I applied for 10 years, but I was only given 48 months marriage after my 2 years expired. The 48 months you're given is not your 10 years green card. When you're filed at 751, USCIS will give you an extension notice. And what right now they're giving 4-year extension notice, because it can take that, at least 2 years for them to adjudicate your petition. While you're waiting for them to do that, they're giving you a notice so you can show to whoever needs it, or when you travel and coming back with your green card, that is evidence you're still a legal permanent resident, and it extends your conditional green card for that 4-year period. So that's not in place of your 10 years. That's just an extension notice. Okay. Well, I don't think, Melissa, I don't think I see your question. How accurate is the estimated waiting time? I don't go by it at all. At all. It's so it's so unreliable that I don't, and I have so many clients who ask me, like, I don't depend on it. I don't. Because even USCIS, I'm sure they don't depend on their own estimated time. Okay. Well, Melissa, if that's what you're asking, whether or not, that you're saying the vow was approved and you have no qualifying relative, as a vow petitioner, you can actually use yourself as a qualifying relative. Just so y'all know, if you've been found inadmissible and you need a waiver, because a waiver requires you to have a qualifying relative, you can actually be your own qualifying relative if your green card is VAW based. So you would not need to have another person. You can actually show hardship to yourself. Okay. After you get a notice saying I-765 is transferred for processing, what should I expect after? Just expect for them to make a decision on it. Do you take cases of an employer filing for an undocumented immigrant here in the United States? We do that. I do employment-based cases, but the undocumented immigrants may not be able to get a green card because if you've overstayed and you've overstayed more than 180 days, and you're not going to be able to get a green card through an employment route, because that is a that's a more stringent requirement where there's no leeway as far as, unlike where you're married to a citizen, where it doesn't matter how long you've overstayed. You're required to maintain status in order to get a green card through employment. If you notice a mistake on your online I-130, can you inform USCIS while your case is under review? Yes, you can. Can someone adjust status at the immigration court? Generally, yes. If someone is asked to provide tax evidence for like 4 years, is it only the front page or each? Why would you give, if they ask you for tax, why would you give them just the front page? Why would you give them just the front page? Of course, you have to give them all your pages. Okay, let's see. All right, I think we got to... My green card interview is a day before my employment authorization card expires. Should I go ahead and renew my employment? Absolutely. Why would you not want to do that? If USCIS says your device is not good, do you need a waiver to after doing it? Oh, you mean a divorce? If USCIS says your divorce is not good, do you need a waiver to refile after doing a proper? Well, I don't do waivers before they tell me you need a waiver. So don't accept that you're going to be inadmissible because you're already saying you did something wrong. Let them tell you did something wrong. So, yeah. What does immigrant visa mean for someone living in the U.S.? Is the equivalent of a petition. So an I-130 is a visa petition. When you adjust status, that is the equivalent of your visa. But someone who is applying for applying in an embassy will get an immigrant visa. The equivalent of that is the adjustment of status route. I hope that helps. If I decided not to file my tax together with my husband after getting my 10 years, will it affect my naturalization? If you are still married and then you decide not to file taxes just as soon as you get your 10-year green card, that's going to raise a red flag. We're still married but not living together. So can I file for citizenship? I've been inside the green card for 5 years now, along with extension of 48 months, but they have not sent my new card. So can I? If you're not living together, that's no marital union, so you don't qualify based on 3 years. But if your 751 has been pending to the point where you're not qualified for a 5-year basis, then why not file based on being a legal resident based on 5 years? That's what I would suggest. Okay. Okay, people. That's all the questions we can take tonight. It keeps coming. Hello, get your wife. How are you? 5 months and counting. She wants to file a new petition, but her EAD is okay. EAD is that the same person you were talking about, financially? If she's the same person, then I will Talk to her on Tuesday. All right, y'all. Probably on Tuesday we do so. We've done so every third live. We try to do questions, so we do it on Tuesday. But it's a new month. It's the first day of February. It is married but still filing separately. Is it a red flag? It, the fact that you're filing taxes separately, whether it's going to be a red flag depends on what kind of immigration benefit you're seeking and how that affects you. So if you're, for instance, if you have a pending VAWA case, even though you're legally married, it doesn't make sense that you're filing taxes together after abuse has occurred and you're no longer living together, but so it's very, very subjective. But anyway, when it's U.S. citizen filed for a child who lives abroad, so instead of I-864, what does that have to know? You're submitting I-864 does what you do generally when you're filing for a child who lives abroad. So you're filing through the child will be applying for an immigrant visa at the embassy. I hope that's what you're asking. But listen, y'all, it's the first day of February. January was the longest month ever. It was like day 231st yesterday. But we thank God for keeping us through and seeing us through so far this year. This is a new slate, another opportunity to get it right, to put everything before the altar of grace. Things that we expect were going to happen in January that didn't come through, that's okay. This is another opportunity to increase that faith, knowing that, what God has started in each one of us, he's going to finish. We got work permits today, and one of my clients, Miss O, her green card came in today. She's been on this matter. And, when she talked about how she met me and she was like, okay, I've been to other attorneys. Why would this be different? But I don't believe in coincidences. I believe God puts people in our lives for a reason. Our paths cross each Tuesday and Thursday nights for a reason. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be your attorney. It may just be that it's just the encouragement part of it for you to know that things may not be the way you want them to be right now. But it does not mean that God has stopped working on your behalf. So as we start this new month, let's just believe that God is still working on our behalf. And whatever it is that our hearts desires, he knows the secret desires of our heart. He knows. Leave it before the altar of grace and just know that God has not forgotten about your case. I'll see you guys